Okay, this is our, we promised you an update at 9:45. This is what we know so far. Earlier this evening, at approximately 7:30 p.m., we received a report of an active shooter situation in progress at the Grand Theater on Johnson Street. Units were close by and responded immediately. Four officers entered the theater to engage the shooter. They did hear shots being fired at that time. What they found upon making entry is that it appears that the shooter has died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after discharging his weapon numerous times. What we have so far is that we have confirmed 2 fatalities, the shooter, and a number of people who were injured, wounded, and they have been taken to area hospitals, and their conditions range from non-life-threatening to critical. Some folks are in critical injury, and we continue to get updates from the various hospitals on the other victims. We do know the identity of the shooter. We are not releasing it at this time. We are right in the middle of this investigation, and we don't want to affect the integrity or the investigators' ability to do their jobs and get information on the shooter. We did, out of an abundance of caution, close the other Grand Theater and have security personnel, police officers were deployed to the various theaters around the city just as a precautionary matter. And that's about all we have at this time. We continue to process the crime scene. As you can imagine, it's pretty chaotic, and our folks are working on that right now. Quite a few witnesses. We have plenty of resources and additional help from the state police, the FBI, the Lafayette Sheriff's Office. And so we are all do interviews with witnesses. There were quite a few witnesses. We have plenty of resources and additional help from the state police, the FBI, the Lafayette Sheriff's Office. Our district attorney is on scene. The state police colonel is here. And so we are all pitching in to make sure we do this correctly. Mike?
Look, to interview each one of those. The coroner's on the scene, he's inside the theater, as well as crime scene. So when you've got a shooting like this, when you've got multiple victims, when you have at least 10 people involved and about 3 others that are still critical, certainly it's going to take a while to do that. So please give us the opportunity to do that. We'll get the information out to you as quickly as possible. Chief Kraft has quite a task ahead of him to keep all this together and to make sure that we don't compromise the location here, because we still have a case to work on this, to make sure that we get everything. I think out of an abundance of caution, you heard that from the chief. That's why they closed the other movie theater. We have no reason to believe that this individual acted beyond this location here. We have no reason to believe that there's an active shooter that's still on the location. There was a lot of multiple reports going on that was a possibility. There's nothing to believe from Chief Kraft's investigators or ours that there's anything else beyond that portion of it. We believe at this point that the scene is secure. Be through the night and the next several days to actually go through this, to find out exactly what put this individual in here, exactly what happened, what caused him to do that. We don't know that at this point, so it's no use even asking. We don't know that, but we'll get to that. We'll work through that. The primary I guess aspect at the beginning of it was public safety, making sure that everyone got out of there safely that could, finding out what was happening. Actually secure the scene. That's where we're at right now. So please allow us to work through this, allow the individuals to do the job they need to do, and we'll get that information to you just as soon as possible. I know we have Governor Jindal here. He has a couple of comments that he wants to make, and certainly we want to give him the opportunity to do that.
Thanks, Mike. First of all, I want to praise the first responders, our law enforcement community. They ran towards the shots fired. They ran towards danger, not away from it. I want to commend the chief and his men I've instructed the colonel, we've been in contact throughout this entire incident, that they should have every support possible from state police. I want to thank our federal and local partners as well. Look, as governor, as a father, and as a husband, whenever we see these or hear about these senseless acts of violence, it makes us both furious and sad at the same time. I think I speak for every mom and dad out there, every parent out there who wants to just go hug their kids. When this kind of just seemingly random act of violence, and again, as Mike said, they're doing their investigation, they will get to the bottom of this. When these kinds of acts of violence happen in a movie theater, when there's no real good reason why this kind of evil should intrude on the lives of families who are just out for a night of entertainment, I know a lot of us are horrified and shocked. The great thing about America is that when any of us suffers, whether it's one family or one community, we all suffer. This is a time for us to come together. I know we've been inundated with calls from folks all over the country. What we can do now is we can pray. We can hug these families. We can shower them with love, thoughts, and prayers. There are families that are mourning the loss of loved ones tonight. There are other families that are in hospitals right now hoping their loved ones are going to make full recoveries. The best thing anybody can do right now is to think about them, pray for them, shower them with your love. That is the most important thing. We will get through this. This is a unified community. The chief talked about all the folks that are here. I can't begin to name all of them, but local, state, and federal. I want to thank all the partners. Lafayette is a strong community. We will get through this. We're a resilient community. This is an awful night for Lafayette. This is an awful night for Louisiana. This is an awful night for the United States. But we will get through this. Again, I know we've been hearing from folks literally all over the country. We need your thoughts. We need your prayers. We need your love for these families that are struggling and want their loved ones to make it through this night and through their recovery. Thank you, Chief, for your work.
All right. Governor, where were you when this happened, and how did you get here so quick?
Look, I was in Baton Rouge. We were in touch both with the chief and state police. We came here immediately as soon as we heard there were reports of not only shots fired, but important for us to be here to make sure they had the support and the resources they need. And again, you've got very quickly, not only were the chief's men here very quickly, folks from FBI, folks from Homeland Security are here, folks from state police. It's been a tremendous coordinated effort. Right now, literally, there are folks inside the theater in terms of gathering evidence. There are folks taking witness statements and talking to the folks that were in the theater. Law enforcement's doing an incredible job. And again, I want to emphasize, they literally were running into and towards the theater as they heard those shots fired. And again, I want to thank these brave men and women in uniform. They serve us proudly.
Have you all been in touch with the president or Congress? Anyone?
No, at this point, look, everybody's just busy responding. I know folks all over the country are trying to contact the chief and trying to contact me and state police, and we appreciate everybody's support. This is a time for America to come together, and I'm sure there are plenty of folks trying to contact folks here in Lafayette, and we appreciate that. And we need their thoughts and prayers. At this point, our focus is on what's going on in here and what's going on in those hospitals. First, what's going on in here in terms of trying to get to the bottom of this, but or even more importantly, what's going on in the hospitals, the local hospitals, to help these folks make a full recovery. I want to thank the doctors, nurses, Acadian Ambulance, the other first responders who are right now engaged in heroic efforts to save the lives and help these folks make full recoveries.
Chief Rob, can you confirm how many victims?
Yes, we had 7 victims injured, 2 victims who were shot are deceased, and the shooter is deceased.
So 3 dead.
3 dead.
10 altogether.
We need our community to come together in prayer. When this kind of thing happens in a community our size, we want to hold each other and come out and see what happens. This is very close to a neighborhood, and the neighbors are out and about. And what we need to do is just back up a few steps, take our governor's advice, and pray for those who have been injured and the families of those who have been injured. But please stay away from the crime scene. This is in the core of our city. It certainly has rocked our community, but we're a strong community that's shown by your presence here and also the presence of the support that we've gotten from all over our country tonight. But please stay clear. If you live in Lafayette, the best thing you can do is stay home, pray for our team, let law enforcement do its job.
We will continue our investigation through the night. We have a lot of very careful work we have to do now in processing that scene. It's a very large crime scene. We have numerous crime scene investigators just beginning their work now. So it may be some time before we can update you again, but we'll notify you when we're ready to release some additional information. The shooter's a white male in his 50s. And I can't say any more than that because at this very moment, investigators are checking out where he lived, you know, who his associates are, all of the necessary background checks that are going on, and we certainly don't want to compromise the integrity of that work.
Any relationship between the shooter used?
No, I can't comment on the weapon yet. I don't know myself what it is. We know it was a handgun. But other than that, you know, the first people that are going to get a look at that and get inside are our crime scene folks, and then we'll know more.
Any relationship between the shooter and the other victims?
We don't know that yet either. We don't know if this was just a random act, whether it was a domestic situation. We really don't have that information yet. We're not far enough along to be able to determine that.
No identity on the other victims?
No.
How many are in critical condition?
We don't know that. Their injuries, I'm told, range from non-life-threatening to critical and life-threatening.
And the victims have been in touch with their families?
I think they have. I know that the hospitals were helping us in making those notifications. I just got off the phone with one of the physicians at one of the hospitals, and the medical personnel are assisting us with that. We do have law enforcement at all of those locations to make sure that those people remain safe and are protected so they can get the treatment they need. All right.
Have you been able to meet with any of the families or walk the scene yet?
We have been on the scene. We are going to be meeting with the families.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.